Hello everybody. I welcome you all in ninth session of your physics paper 1 syllabus. In last sessions, we have seen the physics of standing waves, sound, nodes, antinodes, etc. Now in this session and next two sessions, we are going to cover the physics of music. So whenever we have to study the physics associated with the music, we must know few basic concepts. What we must know? We must know what is mean by natural frequency. We must be aware about what are the forced vibrations. We must know what is mean by a resonance. All these things you have already seen somewhere in your life, but here is the exact physics point of view definitions of these terms: natural frequency, forced vibrations, and a resonance. So, you have noticed that if you are going to your friend's house, what you will do? You will knock the door of that house. So that knocking gives or produce certain kind of sound. If you throw certain plate from your kitchen on the floor, it makes a sound which we actually call it as a noise. So anybody, when it gets hit or plucked or struck by something, it produces its own sound, and the frequency with which that sound has been created, we call that frequency as the natural frequency of that object. So, a natural frequency of object is nothing but the frequency with which an object start vibrations. As vibration started, there will be compression and rarefactions, and thus sound will be created. So, frequency with which an object start vibrations when somehow disturbed from its rest position, we called it as the natural frequency of that object. So, on which factor this natural frequency depends? We know the universal relationship between the speed of a wave, frequency of a wave, and wavelength of a wave. That is, speed equals to frequency into wavelength. That means the frequency of an object depends on the speed of that wave, and it depends on the wavelength of that wave. So, in another way, we can say the natural frequency of an object depends on the applied tension. Why? Because the velocity is equals to, or we can say it is directly proportional to root of applied tension. The natural frequency depends on the mass density of material. Denser and denser material will reduce the velocity as V is inversely proportional to the mass density, and thus it affects on the frequency of that object. It depends, the natural frequency depends on the medium. We have seen how the speed varies when we move from air to liquid to a solid material. In solid material, the speed of sound is maximum. So, the natural frequency depends on the medium through which the wave is passing. The natural frequency also depends on the length covered by that wave, and also it depends on the room temperature. So, there are various factors on which the natural frequency of an object depends. The next phenomenon that we must know is the forced vibrations. The forced vibrations. So, what do you mean by the forced vibration? The very well site physics classroom says It is the tendency of one object to force another nearby object into vibrational motion. We called it as the forced vibration. Now we all go into the park. पार्क में हम लोग काफी बार झूले में बैठ चुके हैं। तो हम जब झूला लेते हैं एक बार, तो अपनी एनर्जी के हिसाब से आगे पीछे मूव होता है। बट when that energy become reduced, that oscillations of that झूला will get damped oscillations. बट अगर हमें और झूला झूलना है तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे, हम उस झूले को आगे की डायरेक्शन में कुछ फोर्स लगाएंगे, सो दैट वो झूला स्टॉप नहीं होगा बल्कि झूलते रहेगा। सो दिस ऑसिलेशंस वी कॉल्ड इट एज द फोर्स्ड ऑसिलेशन ऑफ दैट झूला। सो इन केस ऑफ दिस फिजिक्स व्हाट वी कैन से, सपोज दिस इज अ ट्यूनिंग फोर्क. We know when we hit the tuning fork with the rubber mallet, the vibrations will be produced on the prongs of the tuning fork, as a result of which in the surrounding air, compression and rarefactions will be formed, and thus it will produce a sound wave. We will hear certain sound from these prongs. But have you ever observed the loudness of this sound produced by this prong? It is not so loud. But if you put this vibrating tuning fork on a table in your classroom or in your laboratory, when you put the vibrating tuning fork on the surface of table, what you will observe? You will observe that the sound become more louder. Why? Because this vibrating tuning fork will generate forced vibrations in this body on which this tuning fork we have kept this tuning fork. As a result of which, as this body is larger one, more and more air will get vibrated because of this table, we can say table, and as a result of which more and more vibrations will be produced and we will get a louder sound. So it is nothing but the forced vibrations. That is tendency of one object, that is tendency of this tuning fork to force another object like this table into the vibrational motion. We call it as the forced vibrations. Forced vibrations. Okay. The next concept that we must know about the music, physics of the music, is the resonance. Resonance. There is an experiment you have to perform in your laboratory of BSc semester 3, which is related with this resonance. What you have to do? You have to take a tuning fork. You have to take a glass jar. I haven't shown it here. But suppose you have a tuning fork which is vibrating. If you keep that tuning fork on the surface of a jar which is filled up with water, and if you go on pouring water in that jar, what will observe? At certain point you will get a louder sound. You may have noticed this experiment when your seniors were performing this experiment in your laboratory. So we will get a louder sound at a particular height of that jar filled with the air and water. So what happened there? There the phenomena of resonance takes place. The phenomena of resonance takes place. What is resonance? Suppose, again, one more experiment with the tuning fork. Suppose there is a tuning fork. There are two tuning forks of same natural frequency. They are kept aside like this. Obviously, there will be a sound box which is going to be in a post vibration motion due to this tuning fork. So tuning fork, sound box. This is another tuning fork of same frequency, natural frequency, and this associated sound box. So if we start vibration in one tuning fork, what will happen? The second tuning fork also start vibrating with the same natural frequency as that of the first tuning fork. What happened here? The phenomena of resonance takes place in this particular experiment. Another experiment associated with the resonance is that suppose there is certain stand, there is certain surface which is not rigid one, tight one, but quite flexible. We have attached metal rods, very thin metal rods like this. Rods are of different height. Rods are of different height, such that this rod with this red rubber, you can say, and this rod with this red rubber, these two rods are of same height. These green rods are of same height. These two rods with blue rubber are of same height. So if we disturb this particular rod from its mean position, rest position, if we take it this side and leave it, so there will be certain kind of vibrations taking place in this red rod. As a result of the resonance, the same vibration will pass out to the nearby, you can say adjoining rod, which is of same natural frequency. As a result, we see this rod, the red rod, will vibrate with the same frequency as that of the previous red rod. At that time, this green rod and blue rod are not at all vibrating due to the vibration of this red rod. If you have to vibrate the green rod, you have to give certain vibration to this green rod. If you have to vibrate this blue rod due to resonance, you have to first vibrate this blue rod. So resonance is nothing but when two objects of same natural frequency kept aside and one object is set into motion, then the second object start vibrating as like the first object. This phenomena, we call it as the resonance. And what is the use of resonances in music? In music, the resonance is used merely to increase the number of vibrations. As number of vibrations increases, we will listen more louder sound from that particular instrument. Thus, the purpose of resonance in musical instrument is just to increase the loudness of sound produced in that particular instrument. So these are the three basic concepts on which the physics of music depends. Now let us move towards the musical instruments. Musical instruments. You may have seen various musical instruments when your annual gathering is going on, like tabla, harmonium, synthesizer, flute, sitar, etc. But as a student of physics, let us classify all these musical instruments into four basic types. There are four basic types of musical instruments, and this classification into various types depends on the way by which vibrations are produced in that particular instrument. Why we have to produce vibration? Because these are the vibrations only that will produce some sort of sound, which will then amplified by the process of resonance in musical instruments. So the way by which we are going to vibrate that particular instrument, this way we classify the musical instrument into four basic types. We called it as the string instruments or chordophone, wind instruments or aerophone, percussion instruments or you can say idiophone, and last one is the membraphone. Actually, this idiophone and membranophone, this should be membranophone, membranophone, these two class falls into the next category, what we called it as the percussion instruments. We will go in detail of all these instruments now. So let us focus on the string instruments. The string instruments. You may notice string instruments are nothing but the instruments that have strings, like the sitar, like the guitar, like the violin, veena, santoor, etc. So, the string instruments are the instruments in which the vibrations are produced because of the stretched string. The vibrations will be produced because of the stretched string, which will get disturbed either by plucking or by striking or bowing, means rubbing certain kind of rod on that particular strings, like we do in the violin. So we rub this particular hair bow on the strings, which produce certain kind of friction, and thus the vibration, associated vibrations, will produce a sound which will then be amplified by certain system. So the string instruments are nothing but the instruments in which the sound or the vibrations responsible for that sound will be produced in a stretched string. So the string instruments include, as I have said, the string instrument include sitar, guitar, veena, violin, saroj, or a piano. The next class of instrument is that of the wind instrument, and the most familiar wind instrument usually used in the music is the flute. The speciality of this flute is that it produces a very sharp sound. In the physics term, we can say it produce a sound of single node, a single frequency. We call it as the single pitch sound. So, wind instruments are the instruments in which the vibrations are produced in air. These vibrations are responsible for the sound produced in that instrument, and the sound produced in this way will be amplified by certain another means. So, these instruments we call it as the wind instruments. It includes the fluids, it includes the whistle, either used by kids or by police. It also includes the very traditional instrument shank. It includes clarinet, shehnai, and even harmonium also. Now the wind instruments are classified into various classes depending on whether they are having a reed or not. Reed. So this reed, what is meant by reed? A reed is nothing but a thin strip of material. A thin strip of material in which vibrations will be produced so as to produce a sound. So we call this thin strip of material as a reed. Now there are certain wind instruments that are not at all having reed, like flutes and whistles, shank. But in case of clarinet, shehnai, or harmonium, these are the instruments, wind instruments, in which they contain a reed. This is an example of single reed, whereas this you can say a double reed. That means there are two thin strips of material in which vibrations will be produced. As you know, in case of harmonium, there are many reeds, many metallic reeds are there in case of harmonium. Thus, the wind instruments are classified into various classes depending on whether they are having reed or not. That is, the reedless instrument or instruments with reed. In case of wind instrument, the vibrations are produced in air that will generate sound which will then be amplified. We call it as the wind instrument. The next class of instrument is nothing but the membranophone, in which the sound is produced by vibrations of a stretched membrane. In string instrument, it was the stretched string, whereas in case of membranophone, it is the stretched membrane which will get vibrate when heated or heated with a hammer or hand as like tabla. These vibrations will produce sound. So, what are the examples of membranophone? Very common examples like drum, dhol, chogda, tabla, mridang, pakhwaz, khanjira. So, what is the speciality of these membranophones? What is the speciality of drum, dhol, tabla, chogda, mridang? So, have you noticed that whenever somebody is playing drum, like the usual Ganesh festival, the music of Ganesh festival, it is just incomplete without the dhol. So, these are the instruments that are like if we play certain these instruments, we will not stop our legs by dancing. So these instruments are responsible to create certain rhythm. We call these instruments as the rhythmic instrument. So membranophones are nothing but a kind of rhythmic instruments, whereas the string instruments or wind instruments, we call that instruments as the melodic instruments. Like that instruments are responsible, or we can produce a melodic sound from that instrument. Whereas in membranophone and in next class, we call that instrument as the rhythmic instruments. So, in case of membranophone, the sound is produced by vibrations of a stretched membrane. The last class of musical instrument is the idiophones. It includes all musical instruments in which the sound is produced by vibration of not a stretched string, of not a stretched membrane, of not an air, but in case of idiophone, the sound is produced by vibration of that material itself. Like when we play a tal during bhajan, the sound will be produced because of the vibration in this material itself. Same is the thing of clappers. When we clap, the sound will be produced because of this material only. In case of toy rattles, the sound will be produced by material itself. So, idiophones are nothing but the instruments in which sound is produced by vibration of resonant solid material itself. It includes xylophones, rattles, bells, clappers, ghatam. Like this, it includes jantarang also. So, all these are the examples of idiophone. And as I have said before, the idiophone along with the membranophone, it form a class of percussion instruments. And percussion instruments, the instrument which will get or which will produce sound when they will be hit by either a hammer or some another uh, substance, they will produce sound. So these are the various classification schemes of musical instruments. Now let us see. Oh, sorry. There is one more class which has been recently developed, and this class of musical instrument is the electrophones. Electrophones, the musical instruments in which initial sound is either produced by electronic mean or produced conventionally using the strings or membranes, or like in idiophone. It will be produced conventionally and get amplified by the electronic mean. This we called it as the electrophones, and these are the instruments that we usually use in the orchestra. Like this is the synthesizer, which is nothing but the electrophone. Now this is about the classification of musical instruments. This classification scheme is is depending on the way by which vibrations has been created in that particular instrument. Now, as an example of a string instrument, let us see the details about uh, an Indian instrument, sitar. Sitar, as it is having string, and vibrations in this string are responsible for the sound. We call this instrument as the string instrument. The sitar is an instrument which can produce almost all types of musical sounds, you can say. We call so the sitar, we call it as the complete instrument, complete vadya. The sitar is only a complete vadya on which we can say, like, we can play all tunes on the sitar. Like if we want to play some melodic sound on tabla, it is not possible. Just by using a dole, it is not possible. But in case of sitar, we can play almost all tunes. So we call it as a complete vadya. Now, there are various complicated things that are there in this construction of sitar, but we will just see those parts of sitar which are responsible for the production of sound in sitar. So, a sitar consists of strings like this. These are the string of sitar. The big body we see here, we called it as a resonator. This is the lower resonator. You can see this body, a hollow wooden box, we can say. It is the upper resonator. This resonator part has been covered by a wooden plate, you can say. It is a wooden plate which is nothing but a sound board. Sound board. And the sound board and strings are connected to one another by the so-called bridge. Bridge. The part of sitar or any string instrument on which strings lie. This bridge is nothing but a connection between the strings, stretched strings, and the soundboard or sound box. Apart from these things, you can notice here few buttons. You can say it as a pails. These are the tuning pails. Tuning pails. We use these buttons for the tuning of sitar. These wires, you can see here, these wires which run over this string length, these wires, we called it as the frets. Frets. These are nothing but the metallic rods which are attached to this say fingerboard, which is an wooden material actually. This is an wooden material. The frets are attached to this wooden material either by silk rod or silk thread or nylon thread. So these are the certain important parts of a sitar. Now the music will be or vibrations will be created to the strings of sitar by plucking to the strings. So when we disturb this stretched string from its rest position, what will happen? A wave will be produced. A transverse wave will be produced over these strings. But the end parts of the strings are fixed one. So they are not at all movable. So as a result of which the same wave will get reflected back. These two waves that are moving in opposite direction, they will form a standing wave pattern with these fixed points as nodes, that is no displacement points, and various nodes, antinodes in between. So a standing wave will be produced in the string when we pluck it. So these vibrations will pass over the length and come to the bridge. What is bridge? The bridge is actually made up of some resonant wood at base, but there is a thin layer or there is certain layer of another material like bones or ivory of elephant. This material is there on the resonant wood. The bone material is not flat but is like a certain convex, or you can say it is curved material. It is not flat material but it is a curved material over which the strings will move back and forth due to the vibrations produced in that particular string. So these back and forth vibrations will be noticed by this bridge material and then will get transferred to this sound board. Now sound is actually produced by string. Then what is the use of the sound board? You may have performed an experiment of sonometer in which there was also an stretched string. Have you observed that when you pluck that particular stretched string of sonometer, it will also produce certain kind of sound, but that sound is hardly audible by yourself. That sound is not so large that the whole class could listen that sound. Same case is here. Thus, vibrations that are produced in this stretched string of sitar or any string instrument, these vibrations produce sound which are not so loud. So the use of the soundboard or sound box is just the amplify is to amplify the sound coming from the string. So what bridge will do? The bridge will pass the vibrations of certain frequency from strings to the sound board. What will this soundboard do with that vibrations? Because of these vibrations in stretched string, this soundboard also vibrate. This is an example of forced vibration. The vibration in stretched string force these soundboard to vibrate because of the phenomena of forced vibrations. Now the size of the soundboard is quite larger one as compared to the size of string. So Due to the vibration of this soundboard, more and more air will get vibrate. More the vibrations, louder will be the sound of exactly same frequency as that of the staged string. So soundboard which come into the forced vibration is used just to amplify the frequency, the loudness of sound coming from this string. And which is the part that transfer this frequency or vibration from staged string to soundboard? It is the bridge. The bridge pass the vibrations from string to the soundboard. Now, from which material the soundboard is formed? The soundboard is mainly formed from the teak wood instrument, teak wood. It is a kind of a thin plate. If we use the thinnest plate, it will produce a good quality sound. But the thin plate is not a sustainable plate. Even if we use a thick plate, the sound will be very low in that case. So, the thickness of this soundboard should be like, it should be sustainable also, and it should produce a louder sound also. The thickness of this soundboard and the bridge, the maintenance of this bridge are the two things that highly affect on the quality of sound coming from this staged string. So once the soundboard is forced into the vibration, more and more air will get vibrate and more sound, that is louder sound, will be produced. That louder sound is again made more louder by using this resonator cavity. This resonator, which is obviously empty wooden, you can say wooden bowl like, so which is attached to this soundboard. So the air in this resonator, it will start vibrating due to the phenomena of resonance in the same way as like the soundboard, and as a result of which, due to the resonance phenomena, the more and more vibrations will be created, as a result of which we will get more and more louder sound from this instrument. So this is how the sound will be produced due to the vibration in stretched string, and will get amplified by the soundboard through forced vibration and by this resonator through resonance phenomena. Okay. Now we have seen that in case of stretched string, we have learned the formulae for first harmonics, that is fundamental harmonics, first overtone, second overtone, like this. We have studied that all harmonics are found to be present in a standing wave produced on a stretched string. All harmonics are present. We have studied this in our last session. So in that session, we have also obtained the expression for wavelength, which is related with the length of the string, capital L. We have used capital L in that case. So, if we change the length of the string, obviously wavelength of the wave produced will be changed. As wavelength will be changed, frequency will get changed. Frequency will be changed. So, if we have to change the pitch of this particular instrument, or pitch of sound coming from this instrument, as per our requirement, we must change the length of the string which is going to vibrate. And for that purpose, what we will use is these pegs. These are the tuning pegs. For sympathetic string, okay, in case of sitar, there are two kinds of strings. There are 7 main strings and more than 17 sympathetic strings. Sympathetic strings. The main strings are above this bridge, and below this main bridge there is another one bridge, chota bridge, on which these sympathetic strings lies. the sympathetic strings are not actually used by the musician. The musician only use the main strings, but sympathetic strings resonate or perform vibrations in accordance with the main strings. So, it is not the pegs, but these are the frets that we use to change the length of vibrating string. These are the frets. So these frets, the structure of metallic rod, we use these frets to change the length of vibrating string. If we change the length of vibrating string, wavelength will changes. As a result, frequency or pitch of the sound will get changed. In this way, the sound will be produced from sitar, a string instrument. So, whatever we have seen here in the picture, all that things are written in this slide. What is the purpose of string? What is the purpose of frets? What is the purpose of bridges? Okay. What is the purpose of sound board and a resonator? These are the main parts that involve the production of sound and amplification of sound in this sitar. So this is the overall working of sitar. Almost all string instruments work like this. So today we will stop here. In next session we will see the construction and working of few wind instruments and percussion instruments. So I am very thankful. Before stopping, let me say thanks to Wikipedia and Pixabay, freepngimage.com, from which I have collected many beautiful images. I am also very thankful to the very good website Physics Classroom, in which the concepts have been explained in a very beautiful way. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.